Now we'll be discussing exercise 3 of AOD. So the curve ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus 5 touches the x-axis at minus 2 comma 0 and cuts the y-axis at q where the gradient is 3. I think we have already done this question. Okay, so question 1 is same as, just a sec. See, question 1 of exercise 2b is same as question 1 of exercise 3. Move on to the next question, question number 2. Show that the curves x cube minus 3y square plus 2 is equal to 0 and 3x square y minus y cube is equal to 2 cut orthogonally. I think we have solved this question as well. Just a second. Okay, so this question is same as question number 8 of 2a. Moving on to the next question, question number 3. Show that the curve x by a power n plus y by b power n is equal to 2 touches the straight line x by a plus y by b is equal to 2 at the point a comma b, whatever the value of n may be. Okay. So let's find y dash first. So n okay. So from here y dash equal to fine. So at a comma b y dash will be equal to minus b by a. Fine, which is same as slope of this tangent, this line. Hence this would be the tangent at a comma b. Moving on to the next question, question number 4. Show that the curve ay square is equal to x plus b whole cube. The subnormal varies as square of subtangent. I think this question is also repetition. See, question number 11 of 2a is same as this question. Moving on to the next question, question number 5. Find the equation of normal to the curve this at x is equal to 0. So at x is equal to 0, y is equal to 1. Okay, let's calculate y dash first. Okay. So y dash equal to 1 plus x Okay, now calculating y dash at x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 1. So y dash will be equal to, this would be 1, this would be 1 plus x is equal to 0, ln1 would be 0, plus at x is equal to 0 this will be 0, so y dash is also equal to 1. So m of normal would be equal to -1. We know the slope, we know the point, we can find the equation of normal. Okay, moving on to the next question, question number 6. Show that the normal to the curve this at point 0, -3 meets the curve again at 2 points. Okay. So first what we need to do is find dy by dx. So here y so minus 2y is equal to 5x power 5 minus 10x cube plus x plus 6. Okay, so y dash minus 2y dash equal to 25x power 4, or let's bring it down over here, plus 15x square minus half. Okay, at x is equal to 0, y dash will be minus half, so slope of normal would be 2. Okay, equation of normal would be y is equal to mx plus c. Now solving this normal with the equation of the given curve, we get 5x power 5 minus 10x cube plus x plus 4x minus 6 plus 6 is equal to 0. Okay, so one is x is equal to 0, rest we get x power 4 minus 2x cube, 2x square plus 1 is equal to 0. So x is equal to, x square is equal to 1, x is equal to plus minus 1. So the normal to this curve at this point 0, 3 intersects the 0, minus 3 intersects the curve again at x is equal to plus minus 1. Okay, moving on to the next question, question number 7. If the tangent at x1 y1 to the curve x cube plus y cube is equal to a cube meets the curve again at x2 y2, then prove that x2 upon x1 plus y2 upon y1 is equal to 1. So it would be easier to assume parametric coordinates for this. Assume x1 to be a cos to the power 2 by 3 theta, comma a sin to the power 2 by 3 theta, and assume x2 y2 to be a cos 2 by 3 phi, comma a sin power 2 by 3 phi. Clearly any point of the form this lies on the curve. Okay, so what we need to prove is x2 upon x1 which is cos phi upon cos theta part 2 by 3 plus sin phi upon sin theta part 2 by 3 equal to minus 1. Okay, so first we'll draw tangent at x1 y1 at this particular point. So first find slope 3x square plus 3y square, y dash is equal to 0. This implies y dash is equal to minus x square upon y square is equal to sin theta upon, sorry, it should be cos theta upon sin theta to the power 4 by 3 with a minus sign. Okay, now we know the slope, we know the point. So equation of tangent would be y minus y1 is equal to x minus x1. You also know that this point satisfies this. Now put the value of x2 y2 in this. So we get a would cancel out, sin to the power 2 by 3 phi minus sin to the power 2 by 3 theta is equal to minus cos 4 by 3 theta upon into cos 2 by 3 phi minus cos 2 by 3 theta. Okay, now if we rearrange this equation, we should get this. Fine. So this implies sin power 2 by 3 phi sin power 2 by 3 phi sin power 4 by 3 theta, and this would become sin square theta is equal to minus cos power 4 by 3 theta cos power 2 by 3 phi plus cos square theta. So sin square plus cos square will become 1, and divide the equation by cos power 2 by 3 sin power 2 by 3, we will get the desired result. Okay. Moving on to the next question, question number 8. Show that the curves, these two curves intersect orthogonally. Okay, so first let's find relation between points of intersection of these two curves. Okay, so x square 1 upon a square plus k1 is equal to 0. Since k2 and k1 are different, so we get okay. Now what we need to do is we need to find y dash. So let's this be 1, this be 2, and this equation be 3. So using 1, let's calculate y dash first. So 2x upon a square plus k1 plus 2y upon y dash is equal to 0. This implies y dash is equal to minus x p square plus k1 upon y a square plus k1. Okay, and since there is a symmetry in first and second, so y dash for second will be, this will be m1 x by y v square plus k2 upon a square plus k2. This will be m2. Okay, now m1 m2 equal to x square upon y square b square plus k1 b square plus k2 upon a square plus k1 a square plus k2. Now we can see that from equation third, the value of this can be calculated as -1. Since m1 m2 equal to -1, the two curves intersect orthogonally. Okay. Moving on to the question number 9. So tangent at a point P other than 0, 0 on the curve y is equal to x cube meets the curve again at P2. The tangent at P2 meets the curve again at P3 and so on. Show that the FCC of P1, P2, P3 form a GP. Also find the ratio this. Okay. So let any general point on the curve be t, t cube, just like parabola. And dy by dx should be equal to 3x square, which is 3t square. Okay, tangent at P1. So let parameter for P1 would be T1. So tangent would be y minus y1 is equal to m x minus x1 okay, so y is equal to 3 t1 square x minus 2 t1 cube. Okay, now we'll calculate intersection of this line with the given curve y is equal to x cube. Okay, so x cube should be equal to 3 t1 square x minus 2 t1 cube. Okay, clearly x is equal to t1 is going to be a solution. So let's factorize this. X minus t1 and x plus 2t1 is equal to 0. Okay, so we already know that t1 is going to be double root for this equation, and hence the next point of intersection of this line with the curve would be minus 2t1. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to prove that P1, P2, P3 dash dash form a GP. So we can see that if line at T1, if tangent at T1 intersects the curve again, it gives us minus 2T1. And if minus 2T1 would intersect the curve again, it would give us 4T1. Hence, P1, P2, P3 would form a GP. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need to calculate the ratio of areas of given triangle. So area of P1, P2, P3 would be T1, T2, T3, T1 cube, T2 cube, T3 cube, 1, 1, 1. Okay. with the half. And area of P2, P3, P4 would be T2, T3 cube, T2 cube 1, T3, T3 cube 1, T4, T4 cube 1. Okay. Now this would be R cube T1 cube 1, R cube T2 cube 1, R T3, R cube T3 cube 1 is equal to R power 4 times area of triangle P1, P2, P3. Okay, and we know that R over here is -2, hence the ratio of areas of triangle would be 1:16. Okay, moving on to the next question, question number 10. If the tangent at A, B to the curve this meets the curve again at A1, B1, then prove that this. So question number 10 is same as question number 7 of the same exercise. Okay, move on to the next question, question number 11. Find the angle of intersection of the curves y is equal to box of mod sin x plus mod cos x and x square plus y square is equal to 5. Okay. So we can see that sin x plus cos x ka mod lies between 1 to root 2. We already know the range. Okay, so its box would lie between, so its box would assume the value 1. Now for circle, since x square plus y square is equal to 5, we will calculate y dash first. So y dash comes out to be minus x upon y, and for y equal to 1, x is equal to plus minus 2. So tan alpha would be equal to plus minus 2 minus 0 upon 1 plus 0. Slope for this would be equal to 0. Mod is equal to 2. Hence the angle of intersection would be equal to tan inverse 2. Moving on to the next question, question number 12. So in the curve x power m, y power n is equal to k power m plus n, prove that the portion of the tangent intercepted between the coordinate axes is divided by the point of which are in a constant ratio. Okay, so the curve over here is x power m, y power n is equal to k power m plus n. First calculate dy by dx. So dy by dx is equal to minus my upon nx. Okay, using this equation again. So equation of tangent would be y minus y1 upon x minus x1 is equal to minus my1 upon nx1. Okay, simplifying this we get my1x plus nx1y is equal to x1y1 m plus n. Clear. Now at x is equal to 0, y is equal to y1 m plus n upon n, and at y is equal to 0, x is equal to m plus n upon m. Okay. Now x is equal to, we can see that if we divide line joining A and B in the ratio m/n, then it will come to be x1 comma y1. Okay. So m will apply here, this will cancel out, x1 plus m plus n plus 0 upon m plus n. So it would be x1 upon y1. And so it would be x1. Similarly, y coordinate of this point would be y1 into m plus n upon m. Okay. Hence, the ratio in which the point x1 y1 divides the line joining A and B is m ratio n. Okay. Hence, the ratio is always constant. Moving on to the next question, question number 13. Question number 13 is same as what we solved just now, same as question number 8. Moving on to question number 14, I think we also solved this one as well. So this question is same as question number 16 of 2B. Moving on to the next question, question number 15. What we need to prove is sin square theta is less than theta sin theta. So indirectly it is written that we need to prove sin theta upon theta is less than sin of sin theta upon sin theta. Okay. So for this, first we'll assume a function fx is equal to sin x upon x. Let's find f dash x. So it would be x cos x minus sin x upon x square. Okay. And gx is equal to x cos x minus sin x. Numerator of f dash. And g dash x would be minus x sin x, which is less than 0 if x belongs to 0 to pi by 2. So if g dash is less than 0, then gx is decreasing. If gx is decreasing, we also know that g0 is equal to 0, then gx is less than 0 for all x belongs to 0 to pi by 2. Okay. And if gx is less than 0, then f dash is going to be negative. And if f dash is negative, then f is decreasing. Hence fx is decreasing. We also know that theta is greater than sin theta in 0 to pi by 2. Hence f theta would be less than f of sin theta, which we needed to prove. Okay. Moving on to the next question, question number 16. So find the interval in which one minus x plus x square upon 1 plus x square is strictly increasing or decreasing. So first calculate f dash first. F dash is equal to 2x minus 1 okay. So this can be simplified as twice of x plus 1, x minus 1. We are leaving out the denominator just because denominator is always going to be positive. So if this is greater than 0, so if x belongs to minus 1 to 1, the function is decreasing, else increasing. Okay, if this is less than 0, that is x belongs to minus 1 to 1, the function will decrease, as the function is going to increase. Moving on to the next question. Question number 17. For what values of m does the function m plus 2 whole cube, m plus 2 x cube minus 3mx square plus 9mx minus 1 decrease for all x? So fx is equal to m plus 2 x cube minus 3mx square plus 9mx minus 1 decrease for all x. Okay, so let's calculate f dash first. So f dash should be less than 0. So 3m plus 2x square minus 6mx plus 9m. So this should be less than 0 for all x. So for this should be a downward opening parabola, which means m plus 2 has to be less than 0, m less than minus 2. Okay, and d for this has to be less than 0. So 36m square minus 108 m plus 2 has to be less than 0. So for final answer we would need to take the intersection of these two sets. Moving on to the next question, question number 18. So we have already proved that sin x upon x is decreasing in question number 14. Okay. So let's prove the other part. Sin x upon x, limit x tends to 0 is equal to 1. Also sin pi by 2 upon pi by 2 is equal to 2 by pi. Okay. We also know that 2 by pi okay, multiply the equation with x, so 2x by pi is less than sin x is less than x, hence proved. Okay, moving on to the next question, question number 19. I think the video got paused. Just repeating question number 19. So fx is equal to sin x minus bx plus c, f dash x is equal to cos x minus b, and for the function to be decreasing, f dash has to be less than 0 for all x, so b has to be greater than or equal to cos x for all x belongs to R, and hence b is greater than 1. Now moving on to the question number 20, hx is equal to fx minus f square plus f cube x. If h is increasing whenever fx is dash, I think there's some language issue in this question. The question is asking for the increasing or decreasing range of fx, if I'm not wrong, if the function is increasing or decreasing. Let's calculate h dash first. So h dash would be f dash 1 minus 2fx plus 3f square x. Okay. So discriminant of this particular thing is less than 0 and this is greater than 0 always. Okay, and if this is greater than 0, if h dash increases, f dash increases, and if h dash decreases, f dash decreases. Okay. Moving on to the question number 21. So let fx is equal to this, where a is a positive constant. Find the interval in which f dash is increasing. Okay. Question number 21. So fx over here is x e power ax if x is less than equal to 0, and x plus ax square minus x cube if x is greater than 0, where a is greater than 0. Okay, let's calculate f dash first. Is equal to e power ax 1 plus ax if x is less than equal to 0, and 1 plus 2ax minus 3x square if x is greater than 0. So for the function to increase, f dash x has to be greater than 0. So first calculating for x less than 0. 1 plus ax has to be greater than 0. Okay. Okay. So x over here comes out to be x greater than minus 1 by a. Okay. But this case is only applicable for x less than equal to 0. So the range would be minus 1 by a to 0. Okay. Now for x greater than 0, 1 plus 2ax minus 3x square is less than 0. Okay, so x would belong to 0 to a plus square root of a square plus 3 by 3. Okay. Moving on to the next question, question number 22. Discuss the monotonicity of the function qx, where qx is equal to two f x square upon 2 plus f of 6 minus x square. Okay. So first calculate q dash first. Is equal to 2x f dash x square by 2 minus 2x f dash 6 minus x square greater than 0. So for increasing q, 2x f dash x square by 2 minus f dash 6 minus x square has to be greater than 0. Okay. So let's calculate. We already know that in the question f double dash is greater than 0. Okay. So if f double dash is greater than 0, then fx is increasing. Okay. Sorry, if f double dash is greater than 0, then f dash is increasing. So x square upon 2 will be greater than 6 minus x square if x square is greater than 4. Okay, so if x is greater than 2, then this would be positive and this would be positive, and hence the function will increase. Okay, and if x is less than minus 2, for this the function will increase. If x is less than minus 2, this will be positive, this will be negative, the function will decrease, and if x is between 0 to 2, this will be negative, this will be positive, the function will decrease. Similarly, between minus 2 to 0, the function will increase. Okay. Moving on to the next question, question number 23. This is quite a simple question. So we have been given that f dash is greater than 0, that is the function is monotonic, and f double dash is greater than 0, this implies function, the graph of the function is upward opening. Okay, so if this is the graph, this is x1, this is x2, this value would be f of x1 plus f of x2 by 2, and this value would be, this particular value would be f of x1 plus x2 by 2. So for upward opening, f of x1 plus f of x2 by 2 will be greater than f of x1 plus x2 by 2. Okay, moving on to the question number 24. So this question is similar, very much similar to the question 22. Okay, so qx is equal to 2fx by 2 plus f of 2 minus x. Let's calculate q dash first. So f dash x by 2 minus f dash 2 minus x. So since f double dash is less than 0, this implies f dash is decreasing, x by 2 is greater than 2 minus x. This implies x is greater than 4 by 3. So if x is greater than 4 by 3, this will be less than 0. So if this is less than 0, the function will decrease. So for this range of x, the function will decrease, and if x is less than 4 by 3, q will increase. Okay. Moving on to the next question, question number 25. So fx is equal to sine cube x plus lambda sine square x. Okay. So we need to find the interval in which lambda should lie so that fx has exactly one minimum and exactly one maximum. Okay, so let's calculate f dash first. F dash is equal to 3 sine square x cos x plus 2 lambda sin x cos x is equal to 0. Okay. So since x belongs to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, cos x cannot be equal to 0. So either sin x is equal to 0 or sin x is equal to minus 2 lambda by 3. Okay, but we can see that sin x is equal to 0 is already a root, so one root should come from this. So minus 2 lambda by 3 should be between minus 1 to 1, and hence lambda should belong to minus 3 by 2 to 3 by 2 open interval, just subtract the value 0, otherwise lambda is equal to 0 would again give sin x is equal to 0. Okay, moving on to the next question, question number 26. So limit x tends to 0, 1 plus fx upon x cube 1 by x is equal to e square. Hence e power fx upon x power 4 should be equal to e square. Limit x tends to 0. So this implies limit x tends to 0, fx upon x power 4 should be equal to 2. Okay. We also know that fx is a 6-degree polynomial. So fx is equal to ax power 6 plus bx power 5 plus cx power 4. Okay, since x tends to 0, fx upon x power 4 tends to 2, hence c should be equal to 2. Okay, so if its roots are 1 and 2, then 2 is equal to 8 upon 6a, a should be equal to 2 by 3. Now calculating f dash x, 6a x power 5 plus 5b x power 4 plus 8x cube. This is equal to 0. So it should have roots 1 and 2. Okay. So minus 5b by 3a is equal to 3 and 8 by 6a is equal to 2. Hence we can calculate the value of a and b from over here. Moving on to the next question, question number 27. So there is a window pane of fixed perimeter in the form of a rectangle surmounted by a circle, semicircle. So let this radius be r and this length be l. So perimeter would be 2rl plus pi r square by 2. Sorry, pi r. We need to write the perimeter. Okay. Okay, so this, let's write perimeter first. So L plus L, 2L plus 2R plus this one plus pi r. I think that's enough. 2R plus 2L plus pi r. Okay. Window of fixed perimeter including the base of the arch. So we should add 2 or more. This is to be included. So total perimeter would be 2L plus 4R plus pi r, which is constant. Okay. So light that is need to be transmitted from the square portion can be written as 3 times the area of square plus area of semicircular portion, okay, is equal to 3 times is equal to 6r. Putting the value of L from this equation over here, put the value of 2L in fact, 3r. Value of 2L would be P minus 4R minus pi r plus pi r square by 2. Okay. So if the maximum light is to be transferred, then dl by dr is equal to 0. Okay. From this we can find the value of r in terms of P. and if we can find the value of r in terms of p, put the value over here, we'd find the required ratio. Okay. Moving on to the next question, question number 28. So it says parametric equation of a curve are x is equal to 2t t square plus 3 minus 3t square, and y is equal to 2t t square plus 3 plus 3t square. So dx by dt is equal to 6t square minus 6t plus 6, and similarly dy by dt equal to 6t square plus 6t plus 6. dy by dx would be equal to 6t square plus 6t plus 6 upon 6t square minus 6t plus 6. Okay, is equal to 1 minus plus 2t upon t square minus t plus 1. So we can find the minimum and maximum value of this. So its maximum would occur at t is equal to 1, and minimum would occur at, and its maximum value at t is equal to 1 would be 3. Okay. So the maximum slope of the curve will be 3, and to calculate the corresponding point, put t is equal to 1 in this equation and this equation to get the values of x and y. Moving on to the next question, question number 28b part. Okay. This is. So similarly dy by dx over here is 12t square minus 60 minus 18 upon 5 to t to the power 4 minus 15 t square minus 20. Okay, now this expression can be solved using Davies curve method. Moving to next question, question number 29. So find the largest area of the rectangle whose base is on x-axis and two of its vertices lie on the curve y is equal to e power minus x square. So this is a even function. Symmetric about y is equal to x. Let the rectangle be this. Okay, so if this is x, this would be e power minus x square. Area would be 2x into e power minus x square, and we need to maximize this. Okay, so dA by dx is equal to 2 e power minus x square minus 2a, sorry, x. Okay, and if this is equal to 0, then 2 minus 2x square, 4x square has to be equal to 0, or x is equal to plus minus 1 by root. If x is 1 by root 2, putting the value of x in this equation, we can calculate the area. We can calculate the maximum area of the rectangle. Moving to question number 30. So a 4-meter high flagstaff stands erect on a vertical pillar 5.6 meter high. A man 1.6 meter tall stands facing the pillar. So let's draw diagram first. So this is 5.6 meter, this is 4 meters, and a man is standing 1.6. So this would be 4 and this would be 4. Okay. How far from the pillar should the man stand so that he can see the flagstaff at the greatest angle? Okay, so the flagstaff over here, okay, let the distance over here be x. So tan alpha equal to 4 by x, and tan beta would be equal to 8 by x, and beta minus alpha should be equal to tan inverse 8 by x minus tan inverse 4 by x. Which needs to be maximized. We know that tan inverse is an increasing function, so maximum of 4x upon x square plus 32 will be maximum of tan inverse of this. So we just need to maximize fx is equal to 4x upon x square plus 32. So for this to be maximum, this should be minimum, and this would be we can calculate minimum value of this using AMGM, which would be 8 root 2. Okay, 8 root 2 at x is equal to 4 root 2. X is equal to 4 root 2. Okay, moving on to the next question, question number 31. So question number 31 is, one corner of a rectangular sheet of paper of width A is folded over so as to reach the opposite edge of the sheet. Find the minimum length of the crease. So see, if the rectangular sheet is folded with width A, this portion is going to come over here, and this crease will form. Okay, this vertex will touch this such that this angle would be 90. Okay. So if this side is A, so if this side is x, this will be A minus x, and if this is x, this is going to be x, and this side is going to be equal. Okay. Now we need to calculate the length of the crease, this one, in terms of x. Now if this is theta, this will be theta, and this will be 180 minus 2 theta. Okay, so A minus x upon x will be equal to minus cos 2 theta, and AB, x upon AB would be equal to cos theta. So AB would be equal to x upon cos theta. X upon, now calculate cos theta from over here. Minus cos 2 theta is 1 minus 2 cos square theta. Okay, now putting the value of cos theta from this equation, 1 minus A minus x by x upon 2 का root, which is equal to root 2x upon 2x minus A का root x. So we need to maximize this. To maximize this, differentiate this with respect to x, and we'll get the value of x in terms of A. Okay, moving to next question, question number 32. So a point P is given on the circumference of a circle of radius r. The chord QR is parallel to the tangent at P. Find the maximum area of PQR. So this would clearly be an isosceles triangle. R, height of the triangle be H. Okay. So H minus R whole square plus, sorry, R square minus this. So this is length of AM. Okay, so area would be area of triangle ABP would be H minus R whole square into base, half into base into height is H. So we can maximize this, and which would give us the value of H in terms of R. Moving on to the next question, question number 33. The circle x square plus y square is equal to 1 cuts the x-axis at P and Q. So P would be P cutting x-axis at P and Q, and radius variable intersect the first circle at R above the x-axis and the line segment PQ at S. Find the maximum area of QSR. There was some error in the video for question number 33, so I'll repeat that again. So the Q point would be 1 comma 0. A circle passing through 1 comma 0, a circle with center 1 comma 0 would be x minus 1 whole square plus y square is equal to r square. Intersection of this circle and the original circle would be this, subtracting both the equations. Okay, we get x in terms of r as 2 minus r square upon 2. Substituting the value of x in this equation, we get y is equal to r square root of 1 minus r square by 4. Okay, and if we calculate the area of the triangle, it would be 1 by 4 r square square root of 4 minus r square. Okay, now to maximize this, we need to calculate d delta by dr is equal to r by 2 square root of 4 minus r square by 4 r upon root of 4 minus r square, which should be equal to 0, and on simplification which gives r equal to 8 by 3. Moving on to the next question, question number 34. Find the point alpha comma beta on the ellipse this in the first quadrant so that the area of the trapezium enclosed by the lines these is maximum. Okay. So this is the ellipse. This is the line y is equal to x. Okay. This is x-axis. This is y is equal to beta, and this should be x is equal to alpha, since alpha comma beta lie on the ellipse. Okay, so delta would be half of beta into half of height into sum of parallel sides, which is alpha plus alpha minus beta. Okay, we also know that 4 alpha square plus 3 beta square is equal to 12. Now substitute value of alpha from this equation into this. So alpha is equal to 12 minus 3 beta square ka root upon 2. So substitute value of this, we get delta is equal to half of beta. 2 alpha is square root of 12 minus 3 beta square minus beta. Now what we need to do is, we need to calculate the maximum value of this. So differentiate this with respect to beta and calculate the value of beta. Okay. Moving on to the next question, question number 35. A gutter is to be made out of a long sheet of metal 8 cm wide by turning up strips of width 1 cm on each side so that they make equal angles theta with the vertical. For what value of theta will be the containing capacity of the gutter be greatest? Okay, so if the width is a centimeter and 1 centimeter is folded at an angle theta, so this would be 1, this would be 1, this would be 1, this would be 1, and this is a minus 2. So area of cross section of the gutter would be this h would be equal to sine theta, half into sine theta into sum of parallel sides. So this side is a minus 2 and this side would be a minus 2 cos theta. Okay. Sine theta into a minus 2 minus cos theta. So this we need to maximize. Okay. differentiate this with respect to theta. So dA by d theta equal to a cos theta minus 2 cos theta minus cos square theta plus sin square theta, which should be equal to 0. This is a quadratic in cos, plus 2 minus a cos theta minus 1 is equal to 0. Hence we can obtain the value of cos theta using quadratic formula. Okay, moving on to the next question. Question number 36. A cable will be laid from a small island I, which is 3 km from the nearest point P, on a straight shore to a town T on the shore, which is 12 km from P. So first let's draw diagram. Okay, so this is P, this is T, which is 12 kilometers away, and this is the island I, 3 kilometers away. Okay, if the cable costs rupees 4,000 per kilometer for laying underwater and 2,000 per kilometer for laying on the land, at what point R should the cable leave the water in order to give the minimum cost? So let's suppose it is at a x distance from P. So it will be 12 minus x. So total cost would be equal to, total cost would be equal to 12 minus x into cost of land, which would be 2000, plus 4000 into this length, which is x square plus 9 ka root. Okay, now we need to minimize this cost. So dc by dx is equal to minus 2000 plus 4000 x upon square root of x square plus 9, which should be equal to 0. Okay, so 2x should be equal to 9 plus x square. This implies x square is equal to 3 or x is equal to root 3. Okay, moving on to the next question. Question number 37. A firm has a branch store in each of the three cities A, B, C. A and B are 320 kilometers apart, and C is 200 kilometers from each of them. Okay, so it would form isosceles triangle. C is 200, sorry, this is 160, this is 160, and it would form a Pythagorean triplet, 16, 16, 12 and 200. Okay, so this will be 0, 120, 1 minus 160, 0 and 60, 0. Okay, a godown is to be built equidistant from A and B. So godown is to be built on this line. In order to minimize the time of transportation, it should be so located that the sum of the distances from the godown to each of the cities is minimum. Okay, so let the godown is located at x 0, x. So we need to minimize x square plus 160 square twice plus 120 minus x. D is equal to this. Now dd by dx is equal to 2x upon square root of x square plus 160 square is equal minus 1, which is equal to 0. Hence 3x square is equal to 160 का square और x is equal to 160 by root 3. Okay. Moving on to the next question, question number 38. So it says a private telephone company serving a small community makes a profit of 12 per subscriber. If it has 725 subscribers, it decides to load. Okay, we've done this type of questions. We've already done this type of question. Okay. So profit function can be written as P is equal to so if increase in number of subscribers is S, so the decrease in profit would be X paisa. $725 plus X. So now calculate dP by dx minus 725 minus X plus 1200 minus X is equal to 0 or X is equal to 237.5. Okay. Moving on to the next question, question number 39. Find the greatest and least values of the function fx defined as below. Okay, so first we've given gt. So gt is equal to 3t power 4 minus 8t cube minus 6t square plus 24t. G dash t will be equal to 12t cube minus 24t square minus 12t plus 24 is equal to 0. Okay, so t square minus 1 and t minus 2 is equal to 0. So we can easily calculate it will have a maxima at x is equal to 1, at t is equal to 1 and minima at t is equal to 2. Okay, so fx would be 3x power 4 minus 8x cube minus 6x square plus 24x when x is between 1 and 2. Okay, now h of t would be 3 plus pi by 4 sine square pi t plus 2, sorry it's 3t plus 1 by 4. Now calculating h dash is equal to 3 plus pi by 4 sine 2 pi t, which is always greater than 0 for all t. Hence fx has minima at x is equal to 2. Okay, so the definition of the function is 3x power 4 minus 8x cube minus 6x square plus 24x when x is between 1 and 2, and when x is between 2 and 4 the definition would be 3x plus 1 by 4 sine square pi x plus 2. Okay, now we can calculate the values of f1, f2 and f4 to calculate the maximum and minimum, to calculate greatest and least value of the function. Moving on to the next question, question number 40. Find the least value of a for which the equation has the least one solution in the interval this. There is no equation given in the question. I guess there should be some mistake. Find the value of a for which the equation has at least one solution in the interval this. There's no equation given over here. I think there's a printing error. There's something missing. Anyways, moving to next question, question number 41. So we need to find all positive values of b such that fx has smallest value at x is equal to 1. Let's draw graph for this. So for x between 1 and 3, this is a straight line of slope 2, this point being 1 comma minus 1, and y is equal to minus x cube is going to be like this. And something is added in this graph, so this graph will move up, upside or downside depending upon whether the value is whether the added value is positive or negative. So this graph will attain its minimum value at x is equal to 1 only if this graph moves upwards. Hence b cube minus b square plus b minus 1 upon b square plus 3b plus 2 has to be greater than equal to 0, and which can be solved using Wavey's curve method. Okay. Moving on to the next question, question number 42. The least natural number a for which x plus ax square is greater than 2 for all x belongs to 0 to infinity. Okay, so let fx is equal to x plus a by x square minus 2, 1 minus 2a by x cube is equal to 0, or x is equal to 2a power 1 by 3. So putting this value of x over here, so 2a power 1 by 3 plus a power 1 by 3 upon 2 power 1 by 3 minus 2 is greater than 0. Okay, so this will be 2 power 2 by 3, 2 power 1 by 3, 2 power 2 by 3, a power 1 by 3. It should be greater than 0. Okay, so 4 power 1 by 3 plus 1 a power 1 by 3 should be greater than 2 power 4 by 3. 2 power 1 by 3 plus this should be 2 a power 1 by 3 plus a power 1 by 3 minus 2 power 5 by 3 is greater than 0. So a power 1 by 3 is greater than 2 power 5 by 3 upon 3. Okay, you can cube this, so a is greater than 32 by 27. Okay, so least natural number will be equal to 2. Moving to next question, question number 43. So for Rolle's theorem, LMVT, Lagrange's mean value theorem, find the equation of the tangent to the graph of this curve which is parallel to the chord joining the points 0, 3 and 1, 2. Okay, so let's first calculate the slope. So slope should be equal to 3 minus 2 upon 0 minus 1 is equal to minus 1. Okay, now calculate f dash c. F dash c should be equal to 2c minus 2, which should be equal to minus 1. Hence c is equal to 1 by 2. And if x is equal to 1 by 2, then we can calculate the value of y as 1 by 4 minus 1 plus 3 is equal to 9 by 4. So we know the point 1 by 2 comma 9 by 4. We know the slope as minus 1. We can calculate the equation. Moving on to the next question, question number 44. If fx and gx are differentiable functions for x belongs to 0 to 1, such that f0 is given, g0 is given, f1, g1, then show that there exists a c. Okay. So see 44, f dash c upon g dash c is equal to f1 minus f0 upon g1 minus g0. Using LMVT in both f and g, so we get 4 by 2 is equal to 2. Okay, so f dash c is equal to twice of g dash c. Moving on to the next question, question number 45. Prove that the equation x plus e power x is equal to 0 has only one root. So e power x is equal to minus x. The simplest form would be draw the graph of the equation, and clearly these two graphs are going to intersect at exactly one point, hence there will be just one root. Moving on to the next question, question number 46. So f0 is 4, f5 is minus 1. So gx is equal to fx upon x minus 1, g0 equal to minus 4 and g5 equal to minus 1 by 4, g dash c equal to 4 minus 1 by 4 upon 5, which is equal to 3 by 5, 3 by 4. Okay. There exists a c between. Okay. Fine. Moving on to the next question, question number 47. So, using Rolle's theorem to find the condition for the polynomial equation fx is equal to 0 to have a repeated real root. Okay. So if there is a repeated real root, then fx and f dash should have a common root. Fx is equal to x (1) plus x upon 1 plus x square upon 2 factorial plus x power n minus 1 upon n minus 1 factorial. Okay. So clearly these two equations cannot have a have the same root. Okay, the same root can only be 0 if the last term is 0, but x is equal to 0 doesn't satisfy both of these. Moving on to the next question, question number 48. So fx is equal to x plus cos x minus a. F dash x comes out to be 1 minus sin x, which is greater than equal to 0 for all x belongs to R. Okay. Hence we can say that f is increasing if a is less than 1 and f0 is, then f0 is greater than 0. Therefore no positive root. Okay. And if a is greater than 1, then f0 will be less than 0. This implies one positive root will be there. Okay. Moving on to the next question, question number 49. So 2a plus 3b plus 6c is 0, then show that the equation ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0 has at least one root between 0 and 1. Okay, so consider a function fx is equal to ax cubed by 3 so f0 here is equal to d, f1 is equal to a by 3 plus b by 2 plus c plus d is equal to 2a plus 3b plus 6c by 6 plus d. Okay, so clearly f0 equal to f1 since 2a plus 3b plus 6c is equal to 0. Okay, so since 0 and 1 are roots of the polynomial fx, so there will be one root of f dash x lying between 0 and 1, and f dash x we can clearly see, which is, okay, so there will be one root of f dash between 0 and, lying between 0 and 1 such that f dash is 0. Thank you.